Captain America: Brave New World is Marvel's latest attempt to keep the MCU moving forward, with Anthony Mackie's Sam Wilson now fully taking up the shield. Directed by Julius Onah, the film was originally positioned as a grounded political thriller, following in the footsteps of The Winter Soldier. Instead, after multiple rewrites and extensive reshoots, the final product is a generic, bloated superhero flick that doesn't commit to anything. The movie serves as a follow-up to The Incredible Hulk 2008, Captain America: The Winter Soldier 2014, Eternals 2021, and The Falcon and the Winter Soldier 2021, while also setting up future Avengers and X-Men films. With a cast including Harrison Ford as President Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross, Tim Blake Nelson as the leader, and Liv Tyler returning as Betty Ross, there were high expectations. But given everything that happened behind the scenes, delays, rewrites, and extensive reshoots, did Marvel manage to salvage something worthwhile?
Welcome to First Take, where we watch the latest releases and help you decide if they're worth your time. I'm Sean Weathers.
And I'm Angus Combe. Today we're tackling Captain America: Brave New World, a film that went through so many changes you have to wonder if Marvel even had a clear vision to begin with. Let's get into it.
The movie is drowning in cliches. The first act features the classic superhero landing, a moment so overdone it was already being parodied in Deadpool 8 years ago.
Woo! Superhero landing! Yeah, that's really hard on your knees.
Then there's the last second backup arriving with the triumphant music and the old "save some for me" line. Instead of feeling like an earned moment, it just highlights how formulaic this movie is. And let's talk about the rewrites and reshoots. The movie originally had a very different story. It was supposed to focus more on an internal government conspiracy, but Marvel reportedly found it too political and forced rewrites to make it more accessible. The result? A surface-level espionage plot that lacks tension, stakes, or anything remotely thought-provoking. Another major issue is how much this movie tells instead of shows. Instead of letting the action and visual storytelling drive the plot, we get long, expository monologues trying to glue everything together. Scenes where characters just stand around explaining the stakes rather than letting us see them unfold. It makes the film feel passive and uninspired.
I went in not knowing anything about the troubled production history, but it struck me that the movie wanted to be more about political intrigue than Captain America. And truth be told, with all the crazy political intrigue going on in the world right now, I found it hard to get excited about the events in this movie.
Then there's Sam Wilson's Captain America. The film keeps saying he has no superpowers, yet he's somehow holding his own against trained fighters and even nearly beating the Red Hulk. Either explain why he's able to pull this off, or don't put him in these situations. It's inconsistent and it undercuts the stakes. And that big emotional moment in the third act, with Bucky's cameo and heartfelt speech. It should have landed, but it didn't. The movie can't let the moment breathe before immediately undercutting it with a joke. It's the typical Marvel formula at its worst.
The bad guy of the movie, Tim Blake Nelson as Samuel Stearns, at times reminded me of Freddy Krueger. At other times, the Emperor in Return of the Jedi. I guess his character comes from The Incredible Hulk 2008, but I must have missed that one. Perhaps if I'd seen that film, I would have understood him better or even sympathized with him. As it is, I was mostly scratching my head.
While Anthony Mackie and Harrison Ford give solid performances, their characters aren't given the depth they deserve. Ford's President Ross was one of the Hulk's biggest enemies in the comics, yet when the Red Hulk finally appears, none of Ross's or the government's history or knowledge of how to fight him comes into play. It's a wasted opportunity for dramatic irony.
It was nice to see Harrison Ford in the role of the president, but his character wasn't good enough or bad enough to really captivate me. I would have liked to spend more time with Sam Wilson, as played by Anthony Mackie. I thought he did a great job as Captain America, but he didn't have enough interesting things to do. I didn't see the TV miniseries, so maybe he has more interesting moments in there, but still, this movie feels kind of small for a big-budget Captain America film.
And another wasted opportunity was Giancarlo Esposito as Sidewinder, a complete throwaway role. He's played this exact kind of character so many times that there's nothing fresh about it. Worse, he feels completely disconnected from the rest of the film, likely a casualty of one of the many reshoots.
I enjoyed the original Captain America trilogy much better than this one. and I think objectively they are much better movies. Even if I had gone into this one having seen all of the prerequisites, like The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I doubt very much that Captain America Brave New World would measure up. It's a decent Captain America movie, but it's not a great Captain America movie. It has some entertaining action sequences and some good performances, but story-wise, it feels like a piece of a larger narrative that we just need to make it through in order to get to some better movie that may be coming soon.
Let's not forget the CGI. Tim Blake Nelson as the leader and Liv Tyler's Betty Ross were clearly filmed on a green screen, making their scenes feel artificial and disconnected. And Bucky not helping Sam in the final fight? That screams reshoot. Marvel clearly cut something out and patched it together at the last minute. And then there's the biggest issue. Bruce Banner should have absolutely been the lead in this film. The story revolves around characters from his past. Two of his main villains, his love interest, and even the government plot. Yet he's sidelined and not even mentioned, just to make room for a disconnected Captain America story that feels forced.
Fans of the MCU will likely be anxious to check this movie out. And why not? I doubt that it will become anyone's favorite chapter of the saga, but it's a decent enough way to pass a couple of hours. If, on the other hand, you are not an MCU completist, you might not want to rush out and see it.
We're pretty much on the same page. This movie is just okay. Anthony Mackie does what he can, but Brave New World is too routine, too bloated with reshoots, and too afraid to take any risks. If you're a hardcore Marvel fan, you might enjoy picking apart the Easter eggs, but for the rest of us, I'd say wait for streaming.
What did you think of Captain America Brave New World? Did it live up to the Captain America name? Or was it just another forgettable entry in the MCU? Let us know in the comments. And if you enjoy these reviews, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss an episode of First Take. See you next time.